You were asked, did you have any sexual contact with any of your 3 daughters? You said no. And the lie detector said there was no deception.
Yes, thank God.
How does that feel for you? And that your daughters know it.
Well, I felt they always did know it.
You felt they always did know it.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't speak it because?
They didn't know no better. They wasn't told no different.
Miss Yvonne took a lie detector test and said, did you make up or exaggerate any stories with the intention to harm Monzel? She responded no, and the answer was deceptive. Then he asked you, did you say something to the effect of, I'm going to make sure you're never happy again? She responded no, and the answer was deceptive. So Miss Yvonne has acknowledged that her story about you touching your children in a sexual way was not true. So Miss Yvonne, is there anything that you wanted to say to Mr. Monzel?
Why didn't you fight for him harder if you knew you didn't do it?
And what is it that he could have said that would have made you not believe the lie you were telling? Miss Yvonne, you told the lie. It was a lie, and you told it. And you gotta own it.
I'm sorry. I need you to say that you did not rape your girls. I need to hear it come out your mouth the way I've always heard it, Ma.
I apologize for accusing you of raping them. Please forgive me.
You don't have to forgive her. You don't have to.
I cannot accept your apology because it's not sincere. Deep down, I know that you didn't believe that. You knew I had no sexual desires for my children. For 25 years, this thing has broken me. You don't know. It has affected my life in ways I can't even count. The things that you did. This is not no game. This is these children's lives. And it's just a demon in you that you need to deal with.
I'm committed to doing as many of these KEISHA culture episodes, my bootleg series. I'm committed to doing as many as I fucking feel like, right? And I want to put things in perspective. You know, I'll always open my show with, you know, the fuck nigga free rapper girls doing donuts and shit in like a small parking lot. I always show that graphic, you know, that image. And the reason I show that image is because that is supposed to be symbolic of our struggle in the ethnic black community when this gender war, okay? And before we get started, there is a motherfucking gender war, okay? Alright? And if some other content creators, some other people don't want to acknowledge it, that's their business, okay? But it's a part of what is wrong in our community and why we can't come together or get any appreciable traction in society, and I struggle against the dominance, okay? The dominance minority as far as I'm concerned, all right? So it's the sole reason. This gender war is the sole goddamn reason we're on the bottom of the economic barrel, okay? It's the sole goddamn reason, okay? And that's why I show that graphic of those fucking, women, these imp-like, demonic imp-looking women, going around in a circle and shit. Because that's what it's like dealing with them all these years for over 4 decades of bullshit, Even longer, but it's the last 4 decades is just metastasized or whatever the term is. It's just gotten to the point of no return where motherfuckers is now going their own way. Black men are just getting the fuck out. They're saving themselves. They're, finding a way to be selfish because we're not hardwired to be that way. Okay, we're apparently the fair sex and shit, according to some black females and shit, who, nig and gaslight and conduct campaigns of terror and shit, emotional terrorism on a daily basis and shit. And to that end, that's why I'm going to keep making these goddamn videos and shit until I see some change, alright? Or until, the Most High calls me to the upper room, I don't know. Nobody knows how much time they have left, on the planet and shit. Now, I want to make good use of my time to help a few young guys out, maybe some women too and shit. I don't discriminate, but this is a male space of shit. I have 100% male viewership. Alright? That's who's looking at these videos. And I have a wide spread currently, okay? But, regarding this episode, I gotta walk on eggshells. If I say how I feel, how I truly feel, I'll get a copyright strike and shit. And I got a strike the other day, but they rescinded the strike and shit. And they let me know that they were watching my videos intently and shit, because that strike came up before I even, published the video. It just popped up. And then it was gone by the time I had typed my rebuttal. So, I hate to be long-winded and everything, but in this episode, you see a man that has dealt with years he's dealt with parental alienation, built on a false allegation that he touched his children, his female children. And this lie was perpetrated by his own fucking wife, his own dowdy, plain, stoic looking wife. It looked like one of those faces on Mount Rushmore, this bitter ass female and shit. That's what I'm talking about. That's why you gotta keep making these goddamn videos, these KEISHA culture videos, okay? Because of shit like this. Because sometimes your worst enemy is in the bed with you at night while you laying up and shit, trying to sleep. They sitting up there watching your ass, trying to figure out how to fuck you up, how to take everything, how to destroy your goddamn dreams and shit. Yeah, it sounds a little dramatic and shit, but I gotta be honest and shit. If half of these goddamn women was on our side, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. Okay? And I don't give a fuck what they say. You know why I don't give a fuck? Is because they're gonna make thousands of videos. By the time I'm finished recording this episode, there's gonna be a bunch of negging, gaslighting, infantilizing goddamn videos. Spiritual warfare conducted 24 hours a day, 365 days a fucking year and shit, okay? Excuse my passion. But this shit upset me greatly because they conducted a lie detector test. It was discovered that this gentleman was innocent. He was innocent of those fucking allegations and shit. And he said that he felt like his daughters knew that was the truth, but they just went along with it anyway. And then when they read the results for his wife, who had accused him of this, in order to keep him away from his children and criminalize him, and based on pre-existing notions, the whole stereotype, even including the word mandingo, when they read her results, it turned out that she had lied on every goddamn question. Every question. And then they asked him how he felt about it. And he started talking to his wife, and she said, "You should have fought harder for your children." That's what she told him, until the guest had to step in and correct her ass and shit because she knew that was a bad look for black women and shit. Not probably because she had no fucking empathy whatsoever for this man and shit. And she read those results before she announced them and shit, but she still, for maximum impact in spiritual warfare, she had them sit in chairs facing one another and shit. She knew this guy wasn't dangerous or anything, even though he had been accused of sexually assaulting his own goddamn children and shit. But for maximum impact and shit, to get the frame looking right, they had these motherfuckers sit in chairs facing each other, almost knees touching, with the host in the middle reading the results and shit. It was very cozy, criminally so. And I'm just saying, if I say how I feel about that, if I say like, I feel like street justice should be enacted based on this, that, I would get a strike if I wanted this female, for instance, like, I'm not saying flog her or nothing, hang on the tree and flog her or nothing. I'm not saying that. Okay, YouTube, I'm not saying that. I'm just speaking metaphorically that this episode upset the shit out of me. Because this woman is pure fucking evil and shit, and she's not alone. There's a legion of these women who have fucked their lives up, fucked their children up, fucked their grandchildren up, fucked those children up and shit, and have left this shit in a fucked up state for us to clean up and shit, for us to come and adopt their children and shit, and take care of them like giant infants and, in perpetuity and shit, and we're just not doing it anymore. We're not fucking doing it anymore. These bitter old women ruined their daughters in a myriad number of ways. Not just lying to them about their father shit, the parental alienation, the Stockholm syndrome, the emotional trauma and shit, but just imprinting them with this misandry. And that shit goes to the kids and their kids and shit. It creates what we call the black gynocracy. It's the core of it. And there's a reason I keep making these goddamn videos. There's a reason I'm gonna keep making these goddamn KEISHA culture videos, this bootleg series and shit for as long as possible. And I'm gonna add another couple of series on that shit, okay? Because we gotta look at this shit, Even some of the guys that are guilty of that activity, that crime and shit, a lot of times these motherfuckers, you call them Pookies and Ray Rays and Chads and Brads and all this shit. These guys get away with it because of these bitter old fucking women. They don't do shit for their daughters. They don't care about their daughters. They don't take their daughters to the fucking hospital to get a kit done. They don't take them to the police station. They tell them to keep it hush hush behind the door. And then that woman that's left over who had that trauma, she spreads that shit to her children. And fuck her children up and shit. It creates, like a daisy chain of bullshit that never gets resolved. And it starts with the old bitter bitty that's mad because nobody want to lay up with her fucking ass. Nobody don't want to suffer her. Nobody want to go to church with her. Nobody want to pretend she a virgin and shit until she decides to get off her ass and give it up and shit. Missionary style. Nobody want that verbal abuse. Nobody wants to sit up across the room from her and watch her look at you with her brow furrowed, looking like angry as fuck. Look like fucking Godzilla in the face. So, I had a bit of a rant here, and I'm sorry about that, I'm highly emotional when it comes to shit like this, okay? Most of the time logical. I'm logical and emotional at the same time. I'm a mixture. I come from a nuclear family. I had both parents and shit. And that's all I'm willing to say and shit. It wasn't perfect and shit. But, I want to put this information out so the young men can, keep their goddamn head on the swivel with this bullshit. Protect yourself, okay, at all times. Okay? Don't, unfortunately in this day and age and whatnot, you gotta have eyes in the back of your fucking head because you don't know who's coming after you. And there's no statute of limitations on shit when you're a straight black man in this here country, this America 3Ks in set.
It turns out that the early reports were wrong, all wrong. Now, for that group out there that had such a hard time getting home, sorry about that. I guess the only thing we can do is play you a song.